Sarenameka Saretiki Seneniki. Welcome. Sakenameta Saretiki Sereninyameka. Welcome to this wonderful new week. Saretake Sereninyameki Siki. This amazing, amazing month, February. Saretake Sereninyameka Satiki. And also, happy Valentine's Day. Saretake Sereninyameka. Even though, it's been very commercialized about celebrating love and things like that. It's not only the day that we must celebrate love. For me, honestly, is celebrating that every single day. Because you are your own best friend. So on this wonderful day, before we go into the messages, it's just a little reminder and remembrance of the deep love that you have for yourself, and every single day of your life. Even in those moments in your life where you just really felt like there was nobody there for you, you were there for yourself. So remember, remembrance of yourself. Remembrance that you always have your back. At every single moment of your life, you have your own back. And here comes the first message. As you know, there's this activation and transmission still passing through. There's a reason why my hand is not stopping yet, okay? And that is the thing about honoring really everything about you. There's such an important moment of this day that, again, as I was saying at the very beginning, it's been very commercialized, but it does have a really beautiful point in it, an access point, I like to see it, of love. So you don't really need to wait for February 14 to dedicate a day for somebody that you love, including yourself. It's something that truly, when you get in the rhythm of doing that every single time, at every moment in time, especially in these very dark moments in your life, then it becomes a second nature and it becomes your way of being, okay? So here is this one thing about you being you and the beautiful being that you are, your beautiful physical body. And as I said at the beginning of this year, one of the most important and key aspects of this year is the reawakening of your body, really being in tune with it, really honoring the beautiful vessel that you have that allows you to really have this powerful experience. Without your physical body, you wouldn't be here. Without your physical body, you wouldn't walk. So really think about those times where do you even think about walking without it being a walking meditation, Do you think about moving your hands? It's something that the being you work so well with it. It literally is your best friend. And there's calling upon you to really honor it even more. Honor it and also love it, accept it, right? I always say, and I always tell my clients and students that I like to see everything as my inner child, because then it actually takes me away from the present experience that I'm having in order to see something from a different perspective. Okay, you can see your body as your inner child as well, the parts, especially the parts of you that you don't like. And I'm talking about the physical body in general, okay? Because these messages are coming about the physical body. Just look at one point of the body that you never really liked or you wanted to change. And then have those kind of inquiries, right? The why is there. There's normally, most of the time, there's a traumatic event that gets stored in that particular aspect of the body. And if you don't resolve it, meaning if you don't integrate it, if you don't love it, then it will continue to be there and it will create dis-ease, dis-ease. This is where the word comes from. And it's really because it's been shut away from its own system. You know, imagine you having, like we've been talking about the puzzle of your life, right? The puzzle of your own being. There's a particular piece of this puzzle that you completely don't like, if you wish it could change. And you're literally telling it, like, get away from here, I don't want you here. But that key aspect, that piece of the puzzle, is actually like one of the most important key pieces in order for the puzzle to continue to move around. Remember, like we had said about your own puzzle being alive, and it continuously moves as you continue to elevate. And even, you know, the elevation is something that is not like this, like, oh, this grand thing. It happens in a very subtle way in all of us, even if we believe that we're not in this like conscious way of being. Something is always changing within you. The inner puzzle is always finding itself and redefining itself. So on those moments, you know, that you're just like telling your body that you wish it was differently, that your ears were differently, let's say, right? And then that ear is connected to a piece of the puzzle that is like the key for you to continue to send the energy, for the life force energy to move your puzzle itself. So it's an access point of the energy, it's an access point of your own energy to continue to elevate yourself, to continue to move, give that force of your inner puzzle to move around. So now imagine if you're telling this access point, shut up, I don't want you to be here. Or like, can you just like change a little bit? And so like imagine if you now saw this access point, this piece of the puzzle, as your own inner child, and you're telling the inner child, shut up, I don't want you to be here. So it will literally shut down. If you have been working with your own inner child, it will literally shut down, and it will like retrieve and like literally put these walls around itself energetically, so then it feels safe, because part of itself is, you know, just saying not very nice things to it. Same to you, love. And so imagine that. And now that part of you shut down. We're going back into, let's say now at this moment, the most important piece of your puzzle, okay? And it's shut down. And now where is the energy going to come through? If that was like the deepest access point for you to continue to elevate, then it will try to find different ways, you know, kind of like the side roads, but it won't be like, whew. It will just be like, oh, okay, we can't really go this way, so let's find out this way. And rather than having all that strength to move your own inner puzzle as you're redefining yourself constantly, then it will feel a little lost. See, that sensation of like when you feel lost. There's something in your system that it's not moving and flowing as it wishes. And so here, you know, going back into the physical body, you're so linked with so many parts of you. And now imagine if that particular part of your body, now we were talking about the ear, now let's call the hips, okay? So now if your hips that you completely do not like, if you wish they were completely different, whatever it is, okay? If that was that access point, and it was like shut down, it was shut down for so many years, and the inner child just put all those walls up around to remember everything is related, everything is linked. And so then all of a sudden you have that awareness. Oh, you know, I have been myself the one that blocked all that energy to come through. And then you begin to love it. You begin to accept it, you know? It doesn't mean like to do something like grand. You can just like be like touching that part of yourself. Be like, I'm sorry, I love you, you know? I love you, I'm here. And at times, it might sound so crazy, honestly, but it's as simple as doing those kinds of things. You know, even if it was your nose, you know, I literally hated my nose when I was a kid. It was just like, I'm sorry, you know? Now I'm here and I'm paying attention. How can I help you? Now by saying that, and I'm saying from like the pure aspect of yourself, of your heart, not just because you want to get this done, okay? There's a completely different relationship when you do that, because then remember, your being is super intelligent, so it knows, oh, here's a trick. And now because there's a trick, then it will put more walls around it to protect itself, okay? But when it comes from the heart, then it feels it, and it's like, okay, I know you're coming from that space of love. And now there's that access point that was blocked, and it begins to open up and open up and open up. And all of a sudden the energy flows. This is normally when we find ourselves having that little high on ourselves, you know, on our energy, on our love, whatever it is, that all of a sudden you have this like spark of energy and creativity that you feel so good. Something is moving, a block just released. And so the energy force begins to move and begins to connect even more your inner puzzles for them to find itself. The backup, you know, as in like the backup energy that needs to like express itself in order for the inner puzzle to find its way to continue to connect to different pieces of the puzzle. It's so interconnected. It's so interconnected. And it's really easy. It's much easier from my experience and working with others to find those aspects as like something aside of you first. Because then if you are really in the storm itself, and you're trying to look at the same thing as you, then it might be even more intense of a storm than when you take a step back and see it as like your best friend, or see it literally, okay, that part is a crystal. So let me look at this crystal differently with different eyes, so then I can have a different perspective of it and see where it leads me, see where it takes me. And now it opens up the space more of the physical body to feel accepted. The physical body to feel accepted. When you look back and in your life, you know, and all the times, and maybe you didn't, but for a lot of us, it has been the case of not liking something about the physical body, of like just disliking it or comparing ourselves to somebody else, or just wishing itself that you were different. And imagine the pain within that system that is alive. And now this system, because we are in this planet, is connected to the earth. So through that kind of experience of not enjoying the physical body, of disliking the physical body, is sending signals to the earth saying that you don't like her, that you don't like this experience, that you wish it was different and all these things. And by doing that, guess what? Just like the inner child, it closes itself. The channels themselves kind of shrink a little bit because they get clogged, you know? They get clogged with that kind of energy. That's the energy of like, I don't want you around, you know? Rather than the energy of like, I accept you as you are, regardless of how you look like. And so that's why we get so disconnected. One of the reasons why we get so disconnected from the earth and her intelligence, because this vessel is part of her. Is part of her. And now as you continue to walk through this journey and accept it, going back again to the awakening of the body, this is a major key of the awakening process, of the Kundalini awakening process, well, which is literally the same of the awakening process anyway, the process itself, you know, of remembrance. One of the key aspects is that. And so, you know, giving yourself a chance right here. If like you have been asking to truly connect with yourself and get to experience something deeper, or just in general live a happier life, how would your life be like if you totally loved your physical body? Even in the moments where you felt ill, in the moments where, you know, there was so much anger passing through your sadness. Not just like saying that if you felt joyful, that's great, and if you didn't, then it's not good. So how would your life be like if you fully accepted yourself? And accepting all of you as also your darkness. I just posted a quote, you know, that says, when you stop being afraid of your darkness, so many doors open up within you. Because again, going back into zooming out your entire system, those parts of you are related to your inner child, and they are related to your inner young adults and your inner teenager and then your adult self and all those things. Everything is related. And the separation itself is only like to see it so it can help you. So you can access different parts of your being like that as you are beginning to open up again the connection and the conversation right there. The conversation is always happening. The energy is always moving. But now it's up to you if you accept that energy, which is you. If you really accept the chance of getting to know yourself a little bit deeper. And honestly, when I began to honor my physical body, because I know that most of you know my story about being super bulimic and anorexic, like cutting myself, like depression, suicide, whatever, all these things, you know, totally hated my body. And the moment that I began to honor it, respect it, and apologize to it, it began to open up to me. It began to open up to me. And then through the Kundalini awakening, it continued to do so. And of course, you know, like I had that code in me was really big. And even last year, I could still feel like the mind trying to play the trick of like, hey, you look fat today. And then I'd be like, it doesn't even matter how I look like. I love this body. This body has carried me even when I didn't want to be carried. Like, so can you feel that power? That when you didn't want to be carried in your life, this body carried you. And the body carried also all your traumas and all the traumas that you were going through and the traumas in your family and the lineage, the traumas of like humanity themselves. Because again, we're all super connected. Yet it's still here with you. I mean, what more sign of unconditional love like do you want to receive, you know? Even when you pushed it away, even when you hated it, it was there. And it was like, I love you. It doesn't even matter what you did to me. I still love you unconditionally. Such a deep unconditional love. So now, as you are reciprocating that unconditional love to itself, to the physical body, you know, like the channels, just like magnets, begin to just go like this. And eventually you will come together to a point where you meet the centerness. You know, the yin and the yang symbol, like that dot in the center right there, that you honor your light and your darkness, and at the same time you know where to go in the center. And you can go from different aspects, you know, to find different teachings or to find a different part of yourself and put it back in integration mode. And then when you're done with the darkness in a way of like working with it, then you move back to center. Or when you're done with working with the light, you go back to center, but you go back into the centerness, because now there is the unity of your being. There's no that separation. So your physical body is such an important key in this experience. How are you honoring it? How are you feeding it? Like it's like at times like it blows my mind how like as humans we can be really shitty to the physical body. And trust me, I definitely was. So I'm not putting myself in a pedestal. I definitely was. But now I so take care of it. There was a time in my life where I was like a fitness teacher and I worked out so much. So I was like teaching fitness and yoga already, meditation and energy work and taking ballet classes and all these kinds of things. And I didn't rest one day. And of course, it was part of this thing about anorexia and bulimia and my physical body and body dysphoria and all these kinds of things. And I haven't worked out since Friday because I was preparing to bleed. And even like before, it would have freaked me out. And now I'm like, I gotta take care of my body. Sometimes you gotta do things that you don't want to do or that you've been conditioned not to do, to honor that space within yourself. Because again, this vessel gets messed up, then you're not gonna feel very good. You're not gonna feel very good. And I'm sure some of you have already experienced that even yourself. And so the physical body is your best friend, and it will always be your best friend until the day that your energy source and the physical body just decide to just be like, hey, that's it for this experience. That has carried you and it still carries you. And again, one of the biggest aspects of the awakening process to get to know yourself. So one of the biggest aspects of the awakening process to get to know yourself in such a deep level and continue to access the wisdom of humanity and the wisdom of our ancestors is this vessel, is the physical body. So now you tell me, Are you going to change some things, so you'll continue to do whatever it is that you're doing? And I'm not judging, you know, like I'm not judging. This is all about your experience. Like I said, I was really crappy to my physical body, very, very crappy, and did not eat or eat really shitty foods. And I'm not saying I'm perfect, you know. We don't eat gluten or sugar at home. Once in a while we do, and then we enjoy it. You know, we're not going into our heads like, oh shit, we shouldn't have done it. Like, we enjoy it, but like, we know our limit, you know, we know our limit. And then we continue to take care of it, you know? So there's different things that you can do. Just like food is such an important aspect, because again, you're feeding it. Imagine if you're giving, like, let's say a puppy, right? If you have an amazing puppy that you adore, and it's just like, you give it your all, you give it your love, you give it your everything, and then you give it very crappy food. You don't like, it's like, you know, and it gets sick. It gets sick because that food didn't have enough like nutrients or enough life force energy to sustain this beautiful puppy, and eventually it's decaying. So that is what happens to the physical body. Maybe not like super quick. At times it could happen, but it does. So honoring is not just about meditating, you know, and this is like where the awakening process and this wave of like, what is this word that I'm like seeing and hearing? This trend of spirituality, you know? At times it just consists in like you meditate all day and everything happens and butterflies, rainbow, whatever it is that you want to do. That's an aspect of it. Meditation for sure helps you a lot. But then there's also this aspect of your physical body. There's the aspect of your emotions. There's the aspect of your aura. There's so many aspects in there. But again, if you are here present in this realm of existence, in this physical realm, this is the vessel through which you have this experience. You're not out there. I mean, you are when you're meditating and really like talking about being multidimensional beings, but like in order to truly access the wisdom of this planet and the wisdom of the ancestors that walked this earth prior to you, is this. Because this is a library of experience of every single human being that ever lived. And it's there. In all your cells, in all your codes, is there. So if you have this amazing library of experience, of wisdom, you know, of like amazing programmings, like you have it and you've always had it. And one of the things that you could do in it, in order to access that, is love it and really like see it as like this beautiful temple and just give it your all. Like, what would you choose to do, you know? The moment that I felt, the very first time that I felt that this amazing vessel, it was Mother Earth, I was like, oh no, I cannot feed you crap. I cannot treat you like I have been treating you. So it changes. And we all have the way of connecting right there. You can all connect with the physical body. Again, none of us are very different from one another. Just that some of us, you know, like these major masters in the planet, dedicated their lives to themselves, to love themselves against anything, against everything. You know, there's really crappy things that happen to a lot of masters on this planet. Like, seriously, you know, the Buddha had to like literally run away from his own country. And the Dalai Lama. And now like he's like one of the most amazing beings in this planet. So, and then what, you know, like if you have read his book of like, I think it's called The Book of Joy. Oh my gosh, it's beautiful. And it doesn't see those aspects of himself as like, you know, trying to hate humanity for everything that happened. It's just like, he sees through you. He sees the consciousness. And he sees itself as a consciousness. And consciousness, you know, it's always loving and giving and receiving. So it's the time, truly, to honor everything in you, in your life. Because you're not worthy of this self-hatred. No. You're so worthy of your self-love. And the more that you love yourself is the more that you receive love from others as well. And in all for those conditions and stories that, trust me, like, I know in my own story that they were very challenging to rewire them and rewrite a different story in my system. But it's not impossible. I love that the word itself says I'm possible. That part of you is possible. And that part of you is an opportunity to explore more your being, to connect more to the physical body, through which you will connect with every single being that has been here in this planet. If you wish, of course, if you wish. Holy smokes, I feel them so loud passing through my heart. There's an opportunity. And the full moon is this Wednesday. Oh my gosh, the veils are so thin during the full moon. You can connect with these ancestors if you call them from your heart to really help you, to really guide you in some kind of way, because they're waiting right there. They're waiting, honestly. They're literally at the portal of your heart, kind of like, okay, is she or he gonna open up this door? Like, we're just kind of like literally being knocking. If your soul has been telling you, like, okay, we're so ready to commit to something else, we're so ready to do something differently, is this thing, the portal of your heart, where all your ancestors are like, hey, yo, we're here, let us in, let us in. When it comes from that space of your heart, oh my gosh, there's so much beauty there. And it will lead you into the right direction. Even if it like sounds so crazy, it's just like, because it sounds so crazy, it's because it's really great. Because this word, or like this phrase of sounds so crazy, is some kind of condition that we've heard as humans as we've been growing up. Oh, that sounds crazy, let it be. Because there's a different condition. If you are this way right here, then yeah, you're good. But then if you go into this direction, you're not good. But why are you not good if you go into that direction? I love to just inquiry, like, all these kinds of things. Who made up this kind of rules that if I do this kind of thing, I'm just a good person? And who made up those rules that if I'm this kind of person, that I'm not a good person? We have to acknowledge there is dark and light working in this planet, and you get to choose your middle. You get to choose what you want to experience, and through that you can lead your own way of living and your own revolution of consciousness, which is like you, the way of exploring your being. And so, like, now that we're approaching the day of the full moon, there's a really beautiful opportunity. There's a beautiful window, a portal, I like to call it, to connect with your ancestors. And the most important ancestor is you. Like, you're not this like 30-something year old, you're not this 50-something year old or 19-year-old, like, you're way older than that. And you can tune in to the wisdom of your own ancestry, or your own self, the self, with this portal with the full moon. Wow, it's so powerful, And I invite you to do so, I really do. I'm also having this online sound healing event, Inner Dance, that I've been talking about this in live videos and in my posts, that has helped me to do a lot of healing and connect with my own ancestry. And check it out, the link is in my bio, see if that really vibes with you. Send me a message, we can talk about it. But like, doing something special in these days, opens up again these portals within your being. Because again, like, it's not that you're just this. There's so many connectors going in every single direction, like limitless directions to connect with something. With the stars, with the earth, with different planets, with your ancestors, with like mountains, etc. And it's your choice to open up those links. It's your choice to just like dilute something in your system that's been blocking some kind of channel in order to connect with that. The same thing happens connecting with higher realms, connecting with different like aspects of yourself that are having different lives. It's all possible. If you give your opportunity to believe in yourself and in believe what could be possible for you. And there's a reason, again, why our ancestors honor so much the new moon and the full moon and all these things, you know? They look at the stars in order to like plant the seeds and the crops and all these kinds of things. So there's a reason for all of that. Before all this technology appeared, where it was the connection, the inner knowing, the talking to the elements, understanding that kind of language that is not gone. It's not gone. It lives within you. So here's the opportunity again to reawaken that part of yourself, to tune in into that aspect and see where that takes you. See where that takes you. And then explore. Explore from there. Be curious. Be curious about your own abilities. Be curious about what you can do, the possibilities in your life. Curiosity, just like a child. Just imagine you just being at awe at this experience. You had the eyes of a child every single time that you look at yourself in the mirror, every single time that you're looking at your fingers, you know, every single time that you're walking, to like see different things you haven't been able to see because you were just going like this. It's a different experience. It's a different experience. And then see if that changes something in you. Holy smokes, you guys. There is this transmission totally going straight into the heart right now. And this is why my neck is doing all these kinds of things. The transmission. So I literally see the ancestors like around this cauldron, but it really looks like a portal. And they're waiting for the right opportunity, and they're sending signals. You know, they're always connecting and they're always sending messages. It's kind of like this way of giving you gifts. They're like continuously giving you gifts. There's something that you ask and they send this kind of signal in the form of energy and they throw into the portal for you to feel it, And then they're just waiting for you to ask like a bigger question. They're waiting for you to ask for the opportunity to reconnect with them so their wisdom can pass through you and guide you through anything that you are going through. Because they're just there. They're there to help you. They're there to support you in your growth. But they cannot just like jump into this portal without you welcoming them. And so they're just there. And it's not like, you know, they're not sitting around kind of just be like, oh, when are you going to like send me the signal? They're just kind of like, there's so much love that passes through them and so much awe at you and your power and your beauty and the way that you've been living your life and changing. Like, they're just so in awe at you. And there's so much love. There's so much love in their being that it's just like, whoo. And that's the reason why you ask and they send the signal. And you ask and they send the signal. Even if it passes years, you know, they're just there. Like, amazing, amazing beings. Like, oh my goodness. Elders with so much wisdom. Literally holding you through that space of love, unconditional love. And it's in your heart where you can really feel that and open up the space. Wow, it's so beautiful. Such a big opportunity, you know, such a big opportunity for all of us, you know, myself included, of course. Such a big opportunity to go deep into what you are, who you are, and what you're doing. Creating that change in your life, you know, like, I'm sure you feel it. Oh my goodness, give me some hearts if you feel this, because I'm like, whoa. Like, you know, you came here for something really powerful and really beautiful. And there's a reason why you feel this in your core. You know, there's a reason why you don't have the 9-to-5 job, or maybe you're transitioning into that. There's a reason why you want to do something new and something different, quote unquote different, that your soul calls for. There's a reason for that, you know? And the reason is to break the cycles and these programmings in our experience of humanity and just be who you came here to be. And through that, again, is the shift of consciousness. Through that is your own revolution of consciousness, because it happens within you wow, and it's moving to the throat. It happens within you. And then you can speak up your truth even more without hiding, without hiding. Just from the space of the heart, just being very proud of the way that you're living or your experiences of your history, And it's like no more hiding, because at times, like when something really deep happens within ourselves and in our experience, and we want to hide it, and we don't want to let people know that we suffered, because it's like, oh my gosh, like, how they're going to change the way they look at me. Trust me that when you tell them your experience and your suffering, and now they see you where you are, it'll be like, holy smokes, it's a completely different person. And I have experienced, of course, this with myself and my clients. Like, the moment that I told my best friends, this was years ago, that I had been suicidal, they were like, whoa, like, how? Like, how? You're like completely different. Because again, I love, and I still do, I love my darkness. I love my darkness, I love my light, and I love my middle. I love it all. There's no separation of this, because they all merge. They all merge. And the moment that you allowed that to just integrate itself and make its own dance, and your inner puzzle continue to do its thing and form itself as it wants to form, and it wants to express itself, like, you inside just explode with wisdom and unconditional love. And so that's why the throat begins to open up as the heart just explodes. And you cannot be quiet, It's like, this is my experience. Let me share this with you. And again, it's not doing it from a point of view or from the state of mind that you just want to harm others. It's just like, let me share this with you. Or no, I don't agree with that. Your throat is the way that you express yourself, the way that your being expresses yourself in this experience. Of course, we can definitely have a conversation with eyes closed, not talking, for sure. And I do this a lot with my own tribe, or just the hug itself. There's a lot of conversations that are happening right here. But in order to like communicate like some things and really share your story, it comes from the throat. And when you share your story, you share power. And again, you share the wisdom that runs through you from your ancestors. Because all this pain and suffering that you happen, it wasn't just you. It was in your lineage. And it might still be in your lineage if you're still working through these things. It's in your lineage. So the moment that you speak up and you share the story, and I'm not talking about like sharing this in front of masses, maybe, if that's in your journey, for sure. If it's not, it's not. But sharing it with somebody, with your best friend or like your tribe, then every single ancestor that lives through you, that had that kind of experience in you, is also expressing that. It's also expressing that pain. It's also expressing that power and the suffering through it. There's a reason when we say these things, there's just so much, and at times it's like, oh my God, let me breathe, let me catch my breath. Because it's not just you. And then like going beyond that, it's like all of us. Because again, we're not separate. That pain and suffering is being expressed through you, to be released through you for a specific reason. And their specific reason, or one of them, is to free yourself from those conditions. And when you free yourself from those conditions, you free all of us from those conditions. So, throat and heart. Throat and heart. Your story of your darkness, the story of your light, the story of your centeredness carries so much power, because it's you. And it's your own unique way of expressing this experience, that it might be how you connect with someone and how you save that person's life, just by saying, I was there and now I'm here, and you can also do it. We carry so much power, you carry so much power, and there's a reason why things have worked or happened the way that it has happened in your life, to empower you. Not to like slap you around, to empower you At times we need some slapping around, but like to empower you, really, to empower you. So allow this darkness to empower you. See it again as your inner child, the same thing as you look at the light. It's not like the light is better than your darkness. It's not like the centerness is better than the light of the dark. Everything as a whole is you. And it's all divine creation. And it's all powerful. So now, going into the full moon, take the time to honor that. So then you can honor the ancestors that are coming through you and want to express themselves through you. It's powerful. It's powerful. There's this chant that comes through me a lot of times, especially when I'm playing my drum. And I feel the ancestors doing that through me. Because it comes into your journey where you're not you or who you thought you've been. You're just it all. And you're a combination of so many things passing through at the same time, with you as the access point, you as the intersection. You. So all your ancestors have one intersection point that is you. And through that intersection point comes so much wisdom. And it's up to you if you let this come through or not. But then if your soul has been calling for and you're still here listening to these channel messages that are coming through, or even if it's a replay, there's a reason why. Because your soul has been calling for that, and they have been calling for you, and you've been calling for them. And then this is the access point right here. And now again, as the full moon is approaching, it's such a perfect opportunity to open up the space for them and say, I'm ready. I'm ready. In your own way, in your own way. And if you feel ready anyway, this is not me telling you what to do, but in your own way. Yeah, in your own way. And again, I invite you to journey with me in the Sun Healing event. It's $33 a person. It's at 6 p.m. U.S. Central Time on Wednesday. And see if that activates something in you. It activates something in me every single time. I've been doing this since 2018. And it's beautiful to witness others, to witness myself. And, I always tell people, if you give something one chance and it changes your life, wow. But what if you don't give it a chance? And then you wouldn't even know if it could change your life, But it's up to you, right? It's up to you. I just wish that you continue to do what is best for you. And if you know that your soul is calling upon something and it just freaks you out, or it's just like, oh, I don't know if I can do it. Yes, you can. And then I don't know if I can do it, and it freaks you out, is because you're breaking through that condition and that programming in your system. And of course, it's not gonna feel very oh yes, let's do it, No way. If it's a programming that's been so deeply engraved in the system, in your system, and in all of us really as a human race, it's gonna be challenging to let it go. And this is part of the journey, honoring these conditions and knowing that you're breaking through them and having compassion for yourself, taking time for yourself, and still empowering you. Because goodness, maybe not everybody in this planet has the chance to do what you're doing. Maybe they don't even know anything about this, and they're still in those cycles of suffering, and they just believe that's how life is meant to be. And you're here creating history, literally, within your being and in this planet as a whole. Wow, creating history. You're here creating history. So let that land for you. You're here creating history within yourself and outside of you and in this whole existence. If that's not powerful, I don't know what else could be. But you are very powerful. So I welcome you back, sister and brother. I welcome you back, family. And rise up, remember, and just literally know that you got this. And you have the entire support of literally life running through you. That every single moment in time, Even those moments when you feel that you just want to give up. Oh, let me tell you something, because now it's coming through. The moments that you feel that you just want to give up is because you are crossing the threshold. Literally. You're like elevating. So stay up with that, keep up with that. And then you got this. You got this. And, you know, I'm here for you. If you like to set up a call with me and just chat and see, you know. If not, we're always connected. We're always connected. And let me say something. I invite you, and I would love for you to follow my YouTube channel. I am working to get 1,000 followers there, so I can do live videos and also get donations there. So donations are always super welcome, by the way, by Venmo or PayPal. You know, the link is in my bio. And so also the link is in my bio for my YouTube channel, just to, you know, grow and reach more brothers and sisters around the world. So if you cannot find it, just let me know. I'll send you the link, okay? And then, you know, then some more. Enjoy your life, enjoy your body. Goodness, the body's just so precious, so precious. So I'm about to dance after this. My body feels like, yeah, let's do it. Okay, I love you. Happy Valentine's Day. Like you said, you know, the day of celebration of love is not just today, it's every single day, every second of your life. And so just open up the space today, that every day you're worthy of love, and you're worthy of your own love anyway, and everything. And I love you too. I love you all. Thank you for staying here. And again, I'm Rukmani, and Ganesh is the deity that I work with, always sending this message through me, and of course the ancestors and everything else that passes through. So I love you, love you, love you. Have a beautiful rest of your week. Remember, it's Monday, so it's literally you have an empty canvas to paint whatever it is that you want to paint for this week. So you are possible. Remember that word itself, I'm possible. I'm possible. You are possible. There's nothing that is not possible. So love you, love you, love you. Many blessings. Ciao, peace.